Hey you, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're not just skimming the surface of trucking. We're really going beyond the wheel, exploring what it actually takes to thrive out there in, well, 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, we know your life isn't just driving point A to point B. It's about building something, right?
Yeah.
A career, a future.
Exactly. So, this deep dive, it's really focused on giving you practical, usable stuff, insights you can hopefully use like today to make your daily grind a bit smoother and also help with those bigger long-term goals.
That's the plan. Our mission here is pretty straightforward, but honestly, super important. We've sifted through a load of information relevant to you.
Uh-huh.
Stuff about who's who in freight brokerage, nailing your time management, handling tricky road conditions safely, avoiding those, common pitfalls with companies.
Yeah, the headaches.
Right. And ultimately helping you feel more in control, more respected in what you do.
I
Because you absolutely should be.
couldn't agree more. We've looked at articles on top brokers, tips for managing your clock, surviving tough drives, lessons learned from that tricky first company
Oh,
experience,
yeah, that's a good one.
and spotting those company red flags, plus, of course, the core safety essentials. Think of this as like your cheat sheet to being well informed, maybe with a couple of surprises too.
Okay, let's get into it.
All right, let's start with something that affects every single load: the freight scene, how it's changing, and what it means for you.
Okay, so first up, we looked at the transport topics list.
Yeah.
Their latest ranking of the top freight brokerage firms for 2025.
Right. The big players.
Exactly. You've got the usual giants like
Yeah.
C.H. Robinson, still moving massive volume, very established. Then there are the more tech-focused ones, like Uber Freight.
Okay.
And companies like XPO Logistics, they're kind of blending tech with strategic services. TQL still known for, well, aggressive growth.
Hmm.
And then Schneider Logistics is interesting because they have their own assets, their own trucks, but also a big brokerage arm.
So when you see these huge names at the top, what's the takeaway for the driver? I mean, does it just mean they control all the freight?
Well, they definitely control a lot of it.
Yeah.
Their reach is huge, which means, yeah, tons of available loads. Access is generally easier.
But does that mean better pay?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
That's the catch. Sometimes the sheer volume and the ease of finding freight through their apps and tech can actually push rates down. It's
Hmm.
supply and demand, right?
Right.
Plus, dealing with these massive operations can feel, well, impersonal. You might be clicking through an app more than talking to a person.
Yeah, and if you have a problem.
Exactly. Getting hold of someone who can actually fix it can sometimes be a challenge. Length of that human touch.
But it's not all about the giants, is it? There are still smaller players out there.
Oh, absolutely. And that's crucial to remember. Relationships, they still count for a lot in trucking. Many drivers really value working with smaller brokers, independent guys, or even just a good dispatcher they trust.
Someone who knows you.
Precisely. They might offer a more personal touch,
Hmm.
understand your needs better. Maybe they're more willing to actually negotiate a fair rate. But look, let's be real.
Uh,
The issue of lowball offers, it's everywhere. Doesn't matter if it's a big broker or a small one, especially if you're newer or maybe just not quite up on the current market rates. It happens.
yeah, we heard that loud and clear from drivers we looked at, some just starting, some seasoned pros. That constant fight for a decent rate per mile, it's real.
Cody.
Owner-operators juggling like 3 different apps, just trying to piece together a good week. Even dispatchers talking about battling brokers for fair pay for their drivers. It sounds intense.
It is dynamic, and yeah, sometimes challenging is the right word. And if you think about, like, Hervey from life, as a trucker often says, seeing things from all sides.
Right.
Even fleet owners,
Yeah.
they see the good and the bad with big brokers. They get stability, maybe, but also risk getting squeezed.
So the bottom line for you, the driver.
Be smart. Be strategic. Know your costs inside and out. Know what you need to make. And honestly, prioritize working with people, brokers, dispatchers who treat you right, who pay fairly.
Don't be afraid to walk away from a bad deal.
Absolutely. Shop around. Your truck, your service, it's valuable. Remember that. Build those good relationships.
Okay, solid advice. Know your worth. Choose your partners wisely. Makes sense. Now let's shift gears. Something that dictates pretty much every minute of your day. Time management. It's way more than just, hitting that delivery appointment, isn't it?
Oh, way more. What's really critical here is realizing how mastering your time directly impacts your whole life on the road and your career long term.
Mm.
The sources we looked at really hammered this home. Bad time management. It's not just about being late. It leads to HOS violations, and those are serious.
Big fines, yeah.
Big fines, points on your record. Plus, it leads to fatigue, burnout, and those awful wasted miles that just suck profit right out of your pocket.
Okay, so what are some of those like pro level tips that came up, stuff drivers can actually start doing like right now?
It really boils down to planning.
Hmm.
Before you even turn the key, map out your trip. Use those apps, Trucker Path, Google Maps, your ELD tools.
Hmm.
Pinpoint your fuel stops, rest stops, likely parking areas. Doing that homework up front saves massive headaches later.
Makes sense.
Another huge one. Build in buffer time. Like consciously plan for an extra hour or two in your day.
An hour or two. Wow.
Yeah, sounds like a lot, but think about it. Traffic jams, construction holdups, waiting at a shipper or receiver. It absorbs those unexpected delays, reduces stress massively.
That buffer time. Yeah, I can see how that would immediately lower the stress level.
What else? Don't feel pressured to max out your driving clock every single day. That's a recipe for burnout.
Hmm.
Prioritize good rest.
Hmm.
Sometimes a slightly shorter driving day means you're sharper and safer the next day.
Hmm.
And breaks. Take them early. Don't wait till you're falling asleep or starving.
Right, don't push it to the limit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Take your HOS break, sure, but also quick stops for stretching, bathroom, whatever, and parking, huge stressor. Start looking for a spot earlier in the afternoon. Don't wait until everywhere is full.
That's a big one. Finding parking at night can be brutal.
It really can. Oh, and one more for multi-stop runs. Use voice memos or notes on your phone. Keep track of appointment times, contacts, instructions. Save scrambling and wasting time later.
We saw some really good examples from drivers on this. One veteran OTR guy, he swore by starting super early just to have a calmer day.
Smart.
Another newer driver, she almost got an HOS violation and said it was a huge wake-up call to actually plan.
Yeah, learning the hard way.
And an owner-operator, just put it plainly, wasted time as money down the drain, period. These real stories really hit home, you know?
They absolutely do. And look, from the company side, yeah, dispatch wants on-time deliveries. Of course they do. But the smart companies, they get it.
They understand the real costs of pushing drivers too hard.
Mm.
Safety incidents, accidents, high turnover, compliance fines, it all adds up.
Mm-hmm.
So in today's ELD world, where you're managing yourself more,
Mm-hmm.
your ability to manage your own time effectively while staying safe and legal, that's a seriously valuable skill. It makes you a better, more reliable professional.
So the bottom line is better time management equals less stress.
Less stress, better sleep, probably better load opportunities because you're seen as reliable, and yeah, bigger checks because you're more efficient. And remember, like you said, this isn't just managing time for the load or the shipper.
Right.
It's managing time for yourself, creating space for rest, maybe learning something new, having a better quality of life out there.
Love that perspective. Manage time for yourself, too. Okay, now let's talk about the actual pavement under your tires, because, man, it is definitely not all created equal out there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What's really striking is just the sheer variety of conditions you face. One day you're wrestling city traffic, the next you're on a winding mountain road, then you're battling crosswinds in the desert,
Yeah.
or dealing with ice and snow, or just heavy rain and fog. Each one throws unique curveballs at you, demanding different skills and a real focus on safety.
Okay, let's break some of those down. Urban driving always seems like a nightmare.
It can be.
Yeah.
You've got those super tight turns, worrying about low bridges, always double-check clearances.
Yeah.
Other drivers who seem totally oblivious.
Yeah.
Constant construction, and just finding somewhere legal and safe to park. Forget about it sometimes.
So survival tips.
Use truck routes.
Yeah.
Always. Try to avoid rush hour if you possibly can, schedule-wise. Swing really wide on turns, watch that trailer tail, and honestly, patience. Deep breaths.
Right.
And don't let dispatch pressure you into rushing or taking risks in the city. It's
Yeah.
just not worth it.
Good point. Okay, mountains. Beautiful, but potentially scary in a big rig.
Definitely demands respect. Steep grades, those hairpin switchbacks. It's all about physics, especially gravity. Know your weight, always. Use those lower gears, both going up and coming down, to control your speed and save your brakes. Snub braking, right?
Yeah.
If you smell your brakes getting hot or feel them fading, pull over. Find a safe spot, let them cool down. Pay attention to those warning signs about grade percentages and length. Gravity doesn't play games.
Very true. What about those wide open spaces? Wind, desert conditions.
High winds are serious, especially if you're empty or light. Blowovers are terrifyingly real.
Yeah, I've seen videos.
Check the weather, check wind advisories constantly. If it's really gusting, especially with a light load, maybe wait it out if you can. Firm grip on the wheel, both hands. Slow down wind force increases like crazy with speed.
Right.
Know your trailer height, obviously. And deserts. Dust storms can pop up, visibility goes to zero instantly, slow way down, be ready to pull off safely, and hydration. Sounds basic, but that desert heat will drain you fast. Bad for you, bad for focus.
Good reminder. Okay, the big one for many parts of the country, winter driving.
Winter warfare, yeah. It requires maximum caution and preparation. Black ice, whiteouts, jack lines, frozen brake lines. It's all potentially disastrous.
So number one rule.
Slow down. Seriously, everything takes longer on snow and ice. Stopping distance increases dramatically. Have chains if required, and know how to actually put them on. Practice when it's not freezing.
Haha, good advice.
Make sure your defrost is working, windows are clear, visibility is everything. Be super wary of other cars, they might lose control. And if it gets too bad,
Pull over.
pull over. Find somewhere safe. No load is worth your life or someone else's, period.
Absolutely. And even just, regular rain or fog, still risky.
Definitely. Reduce visibility, less traction. Simple stuff helps. Headlights on, always. Double, even triple your following distance. Smooth inputs, no sudden braking or steering. And watch out for those painted lines on the road crosswalks, lane markers. They get incredibly slick when wet.
Hadn't thought about the paint being slippery.
Yeah, it can catch you out. So the real bottom line for all these conditions, drive for the conditions you're in, not the clock on the dash or the ETA on the screen. Safety first, always. Don't be a hero. Pull over if you need to.
Drive for the conditions, not the clock.
Got it.
Okay, let's switch gears again. This is a tough one, but important. Regretting that first trucking company. Seems like a common story, unfortunately. Why does that happen so often?
It really is common. And what's interesting from the sources is it often boils down to a mix of things. Being new, you're eager, maybe a bit naive.
Yeah, just want to get driving.
Exactly. And maybe you take what recruiters promise at face value without digging deeper or knowing what questions to even ask. So you end up disappointed.
What are the biggest disappointments people run into? False promises seem like a big one.
Oh, yeah. Number one, probably. Promises about home time. Oh, yeah, you'll be home every weekend. Or pay per mile. Or the type of truck you'll get. And then reality hits. And it's not what you were sold. That bait and switch is a huge source of regret.
Ugh, yeah. What else?
Pay issues are right up there. Mystery paychecks. You thought you understood the pay plan, but then deductions pop up, or the miles aren't what you expected. The check is consistently less than you budgeted for. That's incredibly frustrating.
I bet.
Dealing with disrespectful dispatchers is another killer. Someone who doesn't respect your time, ignores your safety concerns, pushes you to bend HOS rules.
Yeah.
That makes the job miserable.
Yeah, that relationship is crucial.
Totally. Feeling like just a cog in a giant machine, no support, no recognition, that's just a number feeling. And sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge, starting out not understanding different pay structures or trip planning or even just your basic rights. That can lead to bad choices early on.
It sounds like there are definite warning signs then, red flags drivers should look out for when checking out a company.
Absolutely. The sources highlighted quite a few. That classic line, "We treat you like family. Be wary."
Yeah. Often means they expect family-level sacrifice without family-level benefits.
Precisely. Exploitation disguised as warmth. Mystery pay plans, if they can't clearly and simply how you get paid, run. Shady dispatch tactics, constant last-minute changes, ignoring safety issues, gaslighting you, big red flag. The home time mirage promise is consistently broken. Companies that try to control you through the truck, making it hard to leave if things go south. Watch out for that.
How do they do?
Holding pay, messing with settlements, making it financially difficult to walk away clean. Also, super high driver turnover. If guys are leaving in droves, there's usually a good reason, no matter how they spin it, as growth.
So bad.
Making you pay for your own orientation. Unprofessional. Tech that feels like Big Brother is always watching, micromanaging every little thing, kills morale. And just a general culture of just trust us without transparency. Nope. Demand answers, demand proof.
So the bottom line is really about due diligence, right? Listen to other drivers, trust your gut more than the recruiter's pitch.
Exactly. Do your research. Talk to drivers currently working there if you possibly can. Ask the tough questions up front. Get promises in writing, or at least an email confirmation. Protect yourself.
Crucial advice. Okay, let's move to the foundation of it all. Safety. It's more than just following rules, isn't it? It's got to be a mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the key takeaway. Safety isn't just a checklist you run through. It's a proactive, ongoing commitment. It's about defensive driving. It's about knowing your equipment. It's about staying informed. It's personal responsibility every mile.
So Practically speaking, what does defensive driving really mean for a pro trucker?
It's about always anticipating what could happen and giving yourself options. So scanning way ahead, like 12, 15 seconds down the road, not just looking at the bumper in front of you.
Uh-huh, seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. Identifying potential hazards early. Always knowing you're out. Having an escape route planned in your mind if something suddenly goes wrong. Using your mirrors constantly, knowing what's beside you, behind you.
Situational awareness.
Totally. Maintaining that safe following distance and adding more space in bad weather or heavy traffic. And critically, never assuming what other drivers will do. Don't trust their signals blindly. Anticipate mistakes.
Good point. And it's not just driving habits, it's the truck itself, right? Inspections are key.
Non-negotiable. Thorough pre-trips and post-trips. Every single time. Tires, brakes, lights, coupling, checking for leaks, making sure your fifth wheel is locked, checking your emergency gear triangles, fire extinguisher, making sure it's all there and working. Taking a quick photo of your inspection sheet. Not a bad idea for documentation.
Lock.
And beyond the truck, you got to stay current on the rules. HOS changes, the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, what enforcement is focusing on, ELD mandates, speed limiters, things change.
Where do you find that info?
FMCSA.gov is the official source, reliable industry news sites too. You have to make an effort to stay informed. The trucker wisdom that came through in the sources really stressed building these proactive safety habits. Make it routine.
So the bottom line on safety, think ahead. Check everything meticulously. Keep learning. Drive professionally, always. Safety isn't just following rules. It's having the power to protect yourself, your livelihood, and everyone else sharing the road. It's professionalism.
Well put. Okay, we've covered a ton. The market, time, conditions, companies, safety. How do we tie all this together? How can drivers use all this to feel more, I guess, empowered?
Yeah, that's the crucial connection. Recognizing that all these pieces, your job, your finances, your personal well-being, they're not separate buckets. They all flow together. Like Hervey from lifewishtrucker.com often says, right? Look at things from every angle, including your own long-term goals, managing your time well. It's not just about hitting delivery windows.
Right, you said manage it for yourself too.
Exactly. It's about carving out time for rest, for family, maybe for learning a new skill, or like some sources mentioned, exploring side hustles or online income streams during downtime. Thinking about retirefromtrucking.com or truckersidehustle.com type ideas. It's about that bigger picture of your life.
So, taking a more holistic view of your career and life.
Precisely. Understanding the broker's perspective, the dispatcher's pressures, learning from other drivers, all that knowledge helps you make smarter choices for you. Taking charge of your time, maybe finding ways to earn extra income, that gives you more control, more security. It buffers you against slow freight periods or rising costs. It's about building resilience and autonomy. It's a path to feeling more respected because you're taking proactive control.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. As we wrap up this deep dive, what are the absolute key takeaways you want listeners to walk away with?
Okay, distilled down. 1, understand the freight market, who the players are, and use that knowledge wisely. 2, master your clock, manage your time effectively for less stress, better rest, and a healthier bottom line, remembering to manage it for you too.
Got it.
3, drive defensively, always, and be prepared for diverse conditions. Drive for the conditions, not the schedule. 4, do your homework on companies. Watch for those red flags. Learn from others' mistakes. And 5, make safety your absolute priority through continuous learning, thorough checks, and professional habits every single day. Safety is power.
Fantastic summary. This deep dive, it was all designed to give you those practical insights, those actionable steps for a more successful, maybe more fulfilling trucking career.
Hopefully, yeah.
So here's something to chew on. Think about just 1 or 2 things we talked about today. What's one thing you could apply, like, tomorrow to improve your situation? Or maybe start planning for that future, whether it's saving more, learning something new, thinking about life after full-time driving.
Yeah, take a moment to consider that.
And definitely check out those resources mentioned. lifeisaTrucker.com, retirefromtrucking.com, truckersidehustle.com. Lots more info there. We really appreciate you. Appreciate the essential work you do. Remember, taking these proactive steps for yourself, for your future, that's not weakness, that's strength. That's professionalism.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.